Welcome to Leadership Briefs, where we explore the philosophy, principles, and practices of servant leadership and how to apply them in the real world. Here's our host, Kevin Monroe.
Welcome, and thanks for watching. In this episode, I want to explore the various ways people discover and practice servant leadership. I'll begin by asking you one of my favorite questions. How did you first discover servant leadership? The reason I love asking this question is, well, I love hearing your answers. Early on, I was surprised to discover recurring themes and patterns in the answers I heard. Frequently, people pointed to the example of an influential person in their life who modeled servant leadership. Whether it was a parent, teacher, boss, or community leader, there was someone who actually served them by leading. These people embodied and modeled this unique blend of power and service known as servant leadership. Wow, what a powerful way to be introduced to servant leadership. Yet there are others whose first or early experiences with leadership weren't so positive. They saw power abused by someone in authority or leadership. In spite of this, they had a profound awareness that there had to be a better way for leaders to use power as a tool rather than a toy. And they found servant leadership to be that way. A third theme I noticed was those who simply stumbled upon this concept as they were searching to find and identify what kind of leader they wanted to be. Robert Greenleaf, the man who gave us the term servant leadership, said he first discovered servant leadership through a flash of insight during a time of reflection. Regardless of how you first discovered servant leadership, you now find yourself on this wonderful journey to serve others by leading and lead others by serving. It is indeed a journey as we continually grow in our understanding, application, and practice of this paradox we call servant leadership. Let's look at 3 ways people implement or practice servant leadership. Some do it innately. I'm not suggesting it was inborn, but rather that they mirror what they saw modeled by other servant leaders who introduced them to servant leadership. Perhaps they never read a single book on servant leadership. They initially learned it through experience and observation, and now they replicate what they see or saw modeled. Others practice servant leadership somewhat intuitively. They approach servant leadership through varying degrees of experimentation or trial and error. They learn what fits their style and understanding of servant leadership and discard what doesn't. A third way people approach the practice of servant leadership is intentionally learning and implementing servant leadership principles and practices. I suggest this is the most effective and consistent way to approach your personal practice and implementation of servant leadership. Remember, servant leadership is a lifelong journey impacting all areas and arenas of life. In future episodes of Leadership Briefs, we'll unpack the principles and practices of servant leadership. For now, I'm thrilled to share this journey with you, together as we live, love, lead, and serve.
Thanks for joining us. We trust you found insights to help you serve by leading and lead by serving. If you'd like more help with implementing servant leadership principles and practices, contact us through our website or social media